no matter what people.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alana here. Welcome back to 3 Degrees of Love Divination. As you can see, there's a little bit of a different setup here. As I stated in my previous video, saying goodbye, my last therapy and tarot video. If you haven't checked that out, it's definitely going to be linked in the description box below. I was saying goodbye to cycling out a few decks that I've been working with, and bringing in a collection of new decks by the same creator whose spread cloth this is, and that's Marianne Constantin with the Lillifer Tarot. So of course, I absolutely love her as a creator. She's become a dear friend, and if you haven't seen my other videos with her, she was in my last year's Bell Let's Talk Day video that I did with Ruth, who is also another beloved creator who's created the Emotional Kaleidoscope deck, which is also a deck that I'm currently working with. So if you haven't seen that, definitely. And of course, Marianne, is also the creator of the Reclaim Oracle, and that's another deck that I had recently started working with again. I've worked with that deck before, as I talk a lot about shadow work, and if you remember, the previous video was about grief, and understanding how our emotions and processing, anyways, and especially when it comes to matters of the heart, which to me, the heart is the center of our existence. It's everything I do is with love. It's why I started this channel. It's who I identify myself to be, because of where I know that spiritually I come from a source, a collective source that is love, that evolves, and it's through the essence of love that, anyway, I digress. So getting back to that, also sharing the things that I love, and spirituality and tarot, of course. So anyway, and community service, social work, mental health, all of that matters, to me. And, a balance of heart and mind, if you will, and how, it's the collaboration of the two that, balances us out as individuals, so that when we interact with one another, we could do so from, the highest vibration possible, which is love, essentially, right? So, and as this is, we're in the month of February, and, the chaos that is the world, we're in a global mental health crisis, and, it's the imbalance, if you will, as I see it, the imbalance of, and the out of sync, if you will, between heart and mind for most people. And that, to me, is overall, part of, what is contributing to all the chaos that we see. You know, it influences our behaviors, how we interact with one another, and ultimately how we exist, you know, here on earth, you know, in this realm, if you will. So, you know, as human beings, and so this is why this work is so important for me, and why I, you know, have dedicated, you know, my time, my love, and, you know, dedication to this. So anyways, with that being said, so the decks that I'm still working with is Hearts and Hands Tarot. I did talk about this one, published by US Games, and is by Liz Blackbird. And of course, the Emotional Kaleidoscope deck, as I said, by Ruth Mado. And of course, everything, you know, for all the decks will be linked down below. But I also actually, so, you know, in my last video, I said that I was going to be, I wanted to, as I was introducing, you know, Reclaim and working with the Lilifert Tarot ×2, because I have both editions, and I decided to work with both of them at the same time. Yeah, I did that. But the way that I feel that everything read together, how it just, and the messages that I felt that I got from them. I did post a few photos of some of the card pulls that I did for myself, and I did post those on Instagram. So if you aren't following me there, you might want to go check it out. You will see, I do have, you know, I've posted a lot of pictures of my decks, that I have, and, you know, sort of how my, you know, my nerdy way of storing my decks, and, you know, how I coordinate, you know, their bags. And anyways, if you're not following me, you know, go check that out. Yeah, and so anyways, so yeah, still working with This Might Hurt Tarot. And as I said, you know, now the Reclaim Oracle, and as I said, we have the Lilifert Tarot ×2. So just to I guess to give you a brief background of these gorgeous decks. So of course, you know, same creator as the Reclaim Oracle, and actually I think I may have forgotten to, I was, you know, I tend to hop around a lot. That's sort of how, you know, when my thoughts sort of come in, whatever, it could be mid-sentence sometimes. So I think I'm the creator, Marianne Costentin, you know, she also means a lot to me, because she was one of the first people who, you know, you know, who guest on my channel, and we talked about her deck, the Reclaim Oracle, and how that came to be, you know, and how much it meant to me, and, you know, it was lovingly gifted to me by her. And, you know, ever since then, we've corresponded ever since. We haven't met, but, you know, I have grown to love her very, very much, you know, because of who she is as a person, who, you know, what she, you know, has also, you know, done for me and inspired me and continues to do so, you know, with her creativity and her work. So anyway, and of course, you know, I admire all the decks I work with. I admire the creativity and everything that goes into it, you know. And anyway, so so the Little Fur Tarot, you know, when this was first created, it was kickstarted on, well, it was on Kickstarter, and so the first edition came in this sort of paper box with, you know, a slip cover, and the guidebook, paper guidebook. There were some typos, so she later had sent out a little pamphlet of corrections on errors that from the guidebook, you know, which is, I thought, is, you know, really cool. I love when, you know, people take that step, you know, and have the willingness to do and take that time to even, you know, do that. It's the same thing as her shadow work book, you know. It's the way that it's, because it's homemade, you know, and or handmade, I should say, rather. Well, that too. You know, because it's like, you know, it's a paperback stapled book, and I know that she, when she, at least at first, when she was, you know, first creating it, that was the, you know, sort of like a mini companion to the Reclaim Oracle. She had yeah, it had the it was like staple bound, you know, the same sort of paper way. Anyway, so back to the Little Fur Tarot. Yeah, so that's the first edition, and you'll see, actually, I noticed, since I've pulled it out for the first time, other than with the, you know, the gold sort of, I guess, embossing, if you will, or foiling, sorry, on the back of the cards on the second edition. It's, you know, it's not on the first one, but the card stock is actually, on the first edition, is actually quite thicker. But the size is exactly the same size. It's just the card stock's a little bit thicker, and there's more flexibility to the second edition. But they both shuffle pretty much the same, and, you know, very beautifully and buttery. I think because of the thickness on the first edition, no, the texture is still kind of the same. I feel like it's got a slight rose petal finish on the first edition, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I know the cardstock is thicker. So anyways, if you're, you know, that's your thing. But for those of you that, you know, want to know that information, anyhow, but otherwise, you know, there's like I said, the borders, and then you have like the gold trim that's on the cards, and there are a few differences between the two. But anyway, I'm not really doing a review, so, but yeah, just so for those of you that really kind of want to know that. And I'm still using the The Disorder Tarot of Innocence, published by Los Scarabeo, and created by Diego and Gabriel. Okay, so anyways, I figured to, in this video today, I would, sort of for the collective, pull some cards, and see what messages, come up, what, I interpret and feel that, you guys may want to know, and you, of course, as you see the cards, and if you're familiar with tarot, whatever you take from what I'm sharing with you and what you see, that's for you. So, okay. I see clear all that I need to see today, Father God, for the greatest and highest good of all humanity. Okay, we have the Lovers, the Ace of Cups, Seven, the Chariot, and Eight of Swords. At the bottom, we have the Seven of Wands. All right. So, of course, I love guidebooks, right? So I'm going to read what's in the guidebook for you guys. So, Major Arcana, the Lovers, 6, the Lovers. 2 androgynous figures are intertwined in an embrace, bodies perfectly aligned. The eyes of one have slipped close while the other points the way forward. The bold patterns on their bodies suggest the balancing of binaries. The lovers attract and influence each other, undoing inhibitions and encouraging self-love. Their union is absorbing, transformative, and selfless. This card suggests that there's someone you connect with, romantically, spiritually, or otherwise. This connection influences your behavior and your sense of self. You may long to become this person as much as you long to be with them. With honesty and clear communication, this union will bring harmony, self-knowledge, affection, and support. Reversed, your connection with a significant other unravels or circumstances pull you apart. Poor boundaries lead you to seek connection in unhealthy ways or unhealthy emotional patterns. Turn intimate relationships toxic. Self-care and space may be best right now. All right. One Ace of Cups. So this is the minor arcana. Okay. The minor arcana. Ace of Cups. A raised glass overflows. Wine, fruits, and flowers spill into the hand around it. This card suggests that you are experiencing an abundance of happiness and love. Aces indicate beginnings, so this card may represent birth or conception, a declaration of affection, or an opportunity to follow your passion. Whatever the case, share your joy with those around you. Sharing your joy with those around you will only increase it in reinforcing connection and communion. Reversed. The love you feel or once felt begins to drain you. You may feel empty or hungover. An infatuation gives way to reality, or an unrequited love or unrealizable dream consumes you. Alternatively, you may reject new friendships or hide growing feelings. Connection may bring pain as well as joy. Seven, the Chariot. All right, so we're back to the major arcana. Seven, the Chariot. A girl races forward. A girl races forward on a winding road, winged like the goddess of victory. The flowers in her hair evoke her optimism, and the sunglasses that shield her eyes suggest a cool, protective front. Her hand grips the steering wheel, and her confident smile shows that she knows where she's going. She is driven, and her chariot will take her wherever she wills. This card suggests that you're making a move, maybe toward a career goal, or maybe just in search of a change of scenery. Whatever the case, you're set up for success. Your drive and ambition reduce obstacles to speed bumps. Stay motivated and keep your eyes on the road. The only person who can stop you is yourself. Reversed. Obstacles and setbacks throw you off course. Small failures may bruise your ego, sap your motivation, or cause you to charge forward with ill-conceived backup plans. Check yourself, patch things up, and map out your next move. And Eight of Swords. Okay, so back to the minor arcana. And we have eight. Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords. A pair of bound hands struggles within a ring of swords. The swords are menacing, but they are also positioned to cut the binding cord if the captive makes the right move. This card indicates that you feel powerless and stuck. Your agency is undermined and your hands feel tied, muddled, thinking, self-sabotage, and negative thought patterns compound this crisis, preventing you from recognizing how to free yourself. Nevertheless, there is a way out. Reversed, you're breaking your chains, freeing yourself from thought patterns that held you back. You may be acting on instinct or emotion rather than logic. However, which could obscure certain dangers. Take care as you move forward. Okay, so I really like that. And you know, for me, you know, how I read this and how this sort of connects to my way of thinking, and you know, why I do what I do, and why I am the way that I am, and what I've been doing, you know, for myself, you know, to heal, and why I want, you know, my motivation for sharing this with you guys. So, you know, as I say, you know, at the end, you know, of every video, I am love. I identify myself as love, right? First and foremost, to the, you know, to the what is, you know, ultimately unconditional, right? So if I can see myself and I hold myself in that regard, which is something that I realized throughout my life, in many ways I didn't, and it's also what led to you know, to my burnout, you know, my burnout in life, you know, and what I've had to spend the last yeah, pretty much 10 years of my life figuring out. So, you know, it's like coming, you know, to me, it's like coming full circle, you know, you're marking what I would consider, you know, the date of my rebirth. Which is February 14th, 2024. Is what I'm claiming this to be, as that is the day of love. This is also Black History Month, you know, and as I've talked about in previous videos, you know, the representation of love, and how, you know, I've managed to put the pieces together, you know, for me, for this to make sense for me, you know, and to know as confirmation why this work, what I'm trying to do, you know, building my channel, you know, the combination of, you know, my religious upbringing, my therapy, all of it, right? and why. You know, the balance of head and heart, you know, and why it's fitting this deck. I love this deck because heart and hands. Well, our mind controls what we do, right? If our mental health is affected because of the traumatic patterns of our history within our lifetime, you know, beyond our lifetime, you know, into those patterns of our ancestors that were built by our ancestors, you know, how we've treated ourselves, how we treat one another, you know, and how over time develop these patterns, these negative patterns, karmic cycles of behavior, and the detriment that it's taken, you know, on us all. So, you know, it's about choice. What you choose to give, right? The balance of the masculine and the feminine within oneself. And when you can meet yourself at your very core, that is how you come into alignment with your truth. And break out of this, the matrix that we've created. Because we've been misaligned completely. Why mental health, mental wellness is so important. And how, you know, the communication that and patterns, if you will, of thought, because what of our environment, what we were influenced by, what we were taught, right or wrong, it all had a significant impact, right? So now what we in turn choose to give as a result of that, consciously choosing, right, is so we shall reap. But it's also when you do that upon self, you then have to go through the karmic lessons of seeing that. I had to go through that to get to where I am today. So it's a balance of the light and the shadow, right? If we understanding the concept of the Chariot card, and, you know, typically, right, in the RWS, not necessarily in this depiction, you know, there's the light and the shadow, right? There's the white horse and the black horse, right? Which, you know, representation of light and shadow, you know, and the balance of two to influence the logical self, right? That's who's supposed to be in the driver's seat, not our emotions, which is convoluted because of trauma, essentially, right? And repetition of influenced taught behavior, right? The offset, the lack of control of self, and the convoluted trying to control everybody outside of you. No, that's not how it works, right? Having to break out of this, and that's, to me, that's the work that I have found myself doing, not only for myself, but was prepared to do, and through my chosen profession for others, the protecting, and that's where, to me, the understanding and then of love, that's why I quote, that's why I hold near and dear the truth, and that comes from the anchor of, the light, the light aspects of spirituality that is supposed to be embedded in religion, regardless of denomination. And if you were to translate it throughout cultures, it's the same thing. Anyway, but somewhere, because, ego and self-righteousness had to take over, and that's the gift of freedom of choice, but it's what we've chosen to do with it. And so it's logic that's supposed to be in the driver's seat, right? Anyways, that's why, I identify there's in what is significant right now, what is to me, where it's so important. There are natural among us, there are natural karmic cycle breakers, the ones that just naturally will do the opposite of what their karmic negative pattern, shadow of their family history has been. Thinking about things like addiction, all of those things, okay? Eating disorders, anything that affects us negatively, that has plagued our family history, okay? There are natural karmic cycle breakers, and they just they naturally just have this instinct, but there there's also sometimes too, without proper guidance, without we unknowingly, because of certain choices, because of certain patterns of behavior, we without recognition, without how I see it, the healing needed to confront these patterns, will blindly continue to infect our future generations, if you will. It's through the necessary healing, the shadow work, the therapy, if professional guidance, if you will, when it comes to things like food addiction, if you will, you know, any disorder, any you know, these things are etched in our family. Patterns of behavior are etched in our family history. Sometimes it's not recognized. It may not be, you know, actually fully diagnosed, right? That's why we honor and we celebrate neurodiversity, right? Because anyway, that's a whole nother side of, okay, and that's not necessarily my level of expertise, if you will. So for me to really, you know, dive into that discussion, but you know, the swords represent the mental aspect, right? Okay. So yeah. All right. Let's see what emotional kaleidoscope has for us today. What might be the topic of introspection and reflection for the collective today? On Sunday, February the 4th, 2024. So, you know, 8 being significant because, you know, and I'm thinking this, you know, this is what they consider. I've been hearing a lot, like when I listen to other tarot readers, like, you know, shout out to Dee from Queen Cup, who is also a, you know, local person that I have been following and admiring for several years now, who I feel has been very inspirational and you know, and influential to my development to where I am right now, and I can be thankful for, you know, so, you know, and who I, you know, wholeheartedly can say I absolutely love, you know. So anyway, and you know, as I was saying, there's also Christina Loeb's, and you know, talking about, especially when we're diving into numerology, and 8 being the representation of self because of infinity. When you turn the 8 around, it's the symbol of infinity, you know, the cycle, DNA, right? The flow, the ebb and flow, in right? What we give is so we shall receive. So if we want good, we have to be willing to give good. And how do we do that? We have to be able to address it on every aspect of being, right? Otherwise, something will be off, you know, and just as, you know, lovely Ruth had created this deck, the emotional kaleidoscope, right? It addresses the other psychological aspect of, you know, of mentality, right? And of behavior and pattern of behavior and repetition, right? And at you know, with the influential, you know, of Carl Jung and Freud, essentially, right? Like, I mean, you know, take a look at some of my collab videos I've done, you know, even with Ruth and, you know, and dear friend Priscilla, you know, of A Life Full of Simplicity, right? We talk about, you know, and then about this deck, emotional kaleidoscope. But anyway, so let's see what this deck has to say today to go with the first set of cards drawn. All right. All right. This has been a haunting card. Since I've been using this deck for myself. What is your greatest accomplishment? That is the pose on the Lover's card. Yeah? Choice. So taking a look, mirror work, in introspection, taking a look as an individual. What is your greatest accomplishment in life? Is it something you're proud of to date? Is that something that you can say you absolutely love about yourself? And not just in the idea of what you've accomplished, but, but also looking back at the choices you've made and with the interactions you've made with the people, in your life, right? This is again, this is a karmic year with the the number of 8 and infinity. It's a judgment year, karma, the law of karma, right? Why deep shadow work is so important. Why for not only for ourselves, but for our entire existence, for the future of humanity, for the future of this planet. That we all for so long been calling home. That we are all a part of and go back to. Okay. How do you respond to being challenged? In what ways does being challenged manifest in you? Am I just talking about how we treat others? Reminds me of the story about the existence and an understanding of Jesus Christ and his existence, right? Whether he, you want to believe that he is the Son of God or not, or or whatever your translation, and to understanding that to my understanding, in every religion, there is a version of this archetype, this ascended master and teacher. If you look and pay attention, in every lifetime, there is a version, silent version. A lot of the time comes in several different forms. But what I'm saying is this sort of public teacher, if you will, that archetype has been fulfilled many times over too, if you pay attention. It's also been the choice of society and the choice that person made for sacrifice. But the sacrifice wasn't for them to be taken advantage of. That's not the sacrifice. The sacrifice was in leading and teaching and trying to revolutionize. But the evil choices, the demonic choices, you know, that have influenced negatively because of unhealed trauma and whatever, ignorance, if you will, the inflated ego caused what happened. They made the conscious choice to lead and to be exposed. That was the sacrifice. And it's what society chose. Inflated egos of the masses that did what happened. And it has repeated. When are we learning? What side are you falling on? Explain. Okay, that's not how I was pulling that card, sorry. I didn't shuffle again. My bad. I was just pulling the card. Okay. All right. Have you experienced a traumatic event that has shaped you into the person you are today? Conscious. So we've got conscious, pre-conscious, and another conscious card. I'm noticing how the way this deck is beautifully set up. Okay, we have the cards are a mixture of black and white. Okay, and it's what I'm seeing is the pre-conscious and the conscious are white. It's and the black cards are the subconscious and oh no, maybe not. Okay, maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, take that back. Because I'm seeing some cards that are black are also pre-conscious too. So, oops. Random. Okay. Never mind with that. Okay. I haven't really worked too in depth with these cards, but this is how, since I have been working with it, like I was just noticing, and that's where I thought, okay, at first, but yeah, I haven't actually, not, maybe I need to do like a really in-depth go through all of the cards. I haven't done that. Yeah. Anyway, the excitement and anxious just wants to get into the cards. Okay. What can you do to emotionally declutter to create a less anxious environment? And that's on the Eight of Swords. That tells me right there that, it is a conscious choice to continue to be held bound by our negative thinking that keeps us stuck. Not just as an individual, but But as a whole, in society, we are the guardians of this planet, right? Humans are supposed to be the guardians of the planet. The human form. That, what is supposed to be the highest level of embodied consciousness, if you will. Yeah? So, really taking a look at ourselves, who we are, come back into proper alignment with who we were born to be. So, okay. Oh, all right. Okay, so we have 6 of Wands. So yeah, right? Choices. What is your greatest accomplishment? What are you... What it is about life that excites you? The most, if you will. Maybe that's something to think about. That's what came to mind. So yeah, so Ace of Cups on Ace of Cups. How do you respond to being challenged? In what ways does being challenged manifest in you? So to me, that's that again, talking about, when we allow our emotions to take control, and influence our choices, and let them be in the driver's seat, as opposed to the logical mind, an understanding of higher self, and higher self of others, right? When we allow our woundings to be triggered, when they're triggered because of our woundings, when other people's behaviors that we cannot control happen in life, as we go about ourselves in everyday functioning with ourselves, with others, with our loved ones, with the people we work with, in general, all over, right? If something that they do that negatively seems to have a negative impact on you and triggers you, right? What being conscious of what it triggers in you and why. Because if we don't have the consciousness to understand that, right? This is where I talk about in a previous video, maybe even in the one that when I talk about grief, right? And I had mentioned Saboteurs, positive intelligence, and I mentioned I started taking this training course about positive intelligence and understanding our saboteurs and what can hinder us, from being our greatest selves, and I will have all the information linked down below. I would recommend it. Is something very helpful, and helps too with the the introspection and being mindful of our actions and how we are, if you will, right? So to me, what we give, but how we have a double ace of cups. It's like what we give to others, how they respond, and then how they respond then triggers us. What do we then do in return that can then soil our success, right? We have the Page of Cups. That's what came out. Actually, no, it was Strength, I think. And then it was the Page of Cups. So, and then of course underneath, using this might hurt, I have the Lovers again on the bottom. So, definitely the choices we make, ultimately is what will then influences the choices of future generations. So, how I see it, the strength to tame our negative emotions, be in control of of that defensive sort of responses, those trauma responses that we end up adapting to because of our our woundings, our pattern of woundings that maybe have followed us for generations, right? And the strength to overcome that, to heal, so that we can influence and make better choices in the future and break those negative thought patterns, whether, right, consciously, and digging into the subconscious, the darkness, doing that healing work, addressing those patterns of behavior that affect our minds, our bodies, every form of our being, our entire existence, both at the soul level and even right throughout to our physical selves, because the physical choices have the effect, right? Okay. And relearning, learning, and taking that opportunity, taking those, and being grateful for the opportunity right? What can you do to emotionally declutter to create a less anxious environment? Well, to me, this is exactly what's going on for me. Sorry, I think I hit the camera with my stand with my foot. But to me, this represents exactly when I, as I talk about the emotional intelligence. Positive intelligence program that I've been recently taking, and the work that's involved in, and confronting our saboteurs, and as they call them, the parts of ourselves that negatively impact our conscious choices, right? And the saboteurs being our emotions, our karmic woundings, our right. So yeah, seizing the opportunity and taking those little opportunities for healing and steps. There's exercises to change the patterns of behavior too that are embedded in our subconscious. There are what they call PQ reps, and that's something that you learn when taking this sort of training, to address our saboteurs. Yeah. So yeah, so that's the page of cups. So I want to read from the guidebook, and I think I probably will do a continuation later, because I know this is gonna be long. It's already been an hour, and I've already, so I just want to read This Might Hurt, and then in a part 2, I will read from the Reclaim into the Disorder Tarot. All right, so let me just hear Six of Wands. Okay, so this is again the Minor Arcana. Six of Wands. Six of Wands, public recognition of victory. Congratulations, you're a winner. The Six of Wands depicts a victory parade, complete with laurel crown and victory wreath. This card depicts public recognition of triumph or reaching a major creative milestone. Not only have you succeeded, people know it. If it's a Six of Wands moment for you, enjoy it. Get that external validation. You've worked hard to achieve whatever it is you have achieved. So let your confidence grow. If imposter syndrome is preventing you from basking in the glow, throw it right out the door. You've shown everyone that you deserve this victory. Let yourself believe it as well. All this being said, pay attention to where the Six of Wands is positioned in your spread. Is it an omen of victory or a suggestion that your goals are based on others recognizing your success? Public recognition is wonderful when you earn it, but it's not great as a motivating desire. Even at its most pure and glorious, the Six of Wands doesn't mean that you're done. Take the time to Revel in your many laurels, but don't rest on them. Enjoy the moment. Let it fuel your confidence and keep going. Ace of Cups. Okay. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. Your cup overfloweth. Indeedy. Aces are potential beginnings, should you choose to take them. I think of each ace as the hand of the universe or God, if you are so inclined, offering you a chance. The suit of cups is about emotions, relationships, and connections. Therefore, the Ace of Cups is an emotional chance. In readings, the cup usually represents a glorious opportunity being offered to you, but it is your choice to drink or not. The card will often come to us when we are close to a new experience that will grow our capacity for giving and receiving all forms of love and fulfillment. The Ace of Cups is a great card for romance, but I encourage you to not narrow your ideas of an emotional opportunity to romantic relationships alone. Your Ace of Cups could be anything that enthralls your emotions: a new friendship, a pet, a project, or a community. Aces are just the beginning of a cycle with its own set of ups and downs. But right now, this one feels damn good. Take the cup. Amen. And again, that kind of, for me, goes again to what I'm saying, right? How do you respond to what is given to you? Right? The opportunities, whether it be, for interaction, whether it be good or bad, and how you respond and why. And okay. Strength. Eat. All right. The strength of self. Overcome negativity. And balance our emotions so that we can think logically and clearly. Okay. 8, strength. Strength. A woman calms a lion, holding it gently by the mouth. The lion represents our wild selves, usually smoothed over by the demands of living in a civilized world. The woman tames him gently, not forcing or coercing his cooperation. The lion is ready to be tamed. They adore each other without trying to change each other. You are both the girl and the lion. There are parts of you that are wild and parts of you that try to bring wild aspects of your character under control. When the strength card appears, It is time to look at both of these parts. Open the Pandora's box of your personality. What do you see? Mirror work, Chariot, light and dark. How have your experience shaped you into the person that you have chosen to be today? Amen. The golden trick of inner strength is love. Love conquers all, every time. That's how we evolve. That's how we got here. That's how we were created. So therefore we are. I know I am. The girl has boundless affection for the lion and all his wild tendencies. Have compassion for yourself. Do not demonize your demons. Instead, work to bring them under your conscious control. The Strength card encourages you to find the fortitude to begin or continue the difficult project of self-betterment, or to use the strength you already have to face outside obstacles. Recognize your fears and insecurities and the parts of yourself you aren't too keen on. Gently accept them. Know you are strong. So therefore, with the commitment and the effort, you can learn to how to emotionally declutter yourself in order to create a less anxious environment within self as well as within society, outside of self. And how we contribute to the greatest and highest good of all. How we address mental health, and the negative impact it has on our overall health and wellness of mind, body, and soul. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you enjoyed my video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you for part 2, as I, will continue with the reclaim, like I said, the Lillifort tarots, and the disorder tarot of innocence. So until I see you again, I am love, so are you. As I am human, you are too. Until I see you again, please take care of yourself and one another. And don't forget to live, listen, and learn. Bye.
no matter what people want.